Day 288, Maccabean Revolt, 1 Maccabees 7, Sirach 19-21, Proverbs 22 verses 22 through 25. Let's begin. 1 Maccabees 7. In the 151st year, Demetrius, the son of Seleucus, departed from the city of Rome, and he went up with a few men to a maritime city, and he reigned there. And it happened that, as he entered into the house of the kingdom of his fathers, the army captured Antiochus and Lysias, to bring them to him. And the matter became known to him, and he said, "Do not show me their face." And so the army killed them. And Demetrius sat upon the throne of his kingdom. And there came to him iniquitous and impious men from Israel. And Alcimus was their leader, who wanted to be made a priest. And they accused the people to the king, saying, "Judas and his brothers have destroyed all your friends, and he has scattered us from our land. Now therefore send a man, whom you trust, and let him go and see all the destruction he has done to us and to the regions of the king. And let him punish all his friends and their helpers." And so the king chose, from among his friends, Bacchides, who ruled across the great river in the kingdom, and who was faithful to the king. And he sent high to see the destruction that Judas had done. Moreover, he appointed the wicked Alcimus to the priesthood, and he commanded him to take revenge on the sons of Israel. And they rose up and came forth with a great army into the land of Judah. And they sent messengers, who spoke to Judas and his brothers with words of peace, in deceitfulness. But they did not heed their words, for they saw that they arrived with a great army. Then there assembled to Alcimus and Bacchides a congregation of scribes, to seek just terms. And first, the Hazadeans, who were among the sons of Israel, also sought peace from them. For they said, "A man who is a priest from the offspring of Aaron has arrived, he will not deceive us." And he spoke to them peaceful words, and he swore to them, saying, "We will not carry out any evil against you or your friends." And they believed him. And he captured 60 of their men and killed them in one day, according to the word that is written. "The flesh of your saints, and their blood, they have poured out all around Jerusalem, and there was no one who would bury them." Then fear and trembling hovered over all the people. For they said, "There is no truth or judgment among them. For they have transgressed the agreement, and the oath that they swore." And Bacchides moved the camp from Jerusalem, and he took up a position at Bethsaith. And he sent and captured many of those who had fled from him, and some of the people he killed in sacrifice, and he threw them into a great pit. Then he committed the country to Alcimus, and he left behind troops with him to assist him. And so Bacchides went away to the king. And Alcimus did what he pleased by means of his leadership of the priesthood. And all those who disturbed the people assembled before him, and they obtained the land of Judah, and they caused a great scourging in Israel. And Judas saw all the evils that Alcimus, and those who were with him, did to the sons of Israel, even more than the Gentiles did. And he went out into all the parts surrounding Judea, and he took vengeance on the men who had rebelled, and they ceased to go forth into the region any longer. But Alcimus saw that Judas, and those who were with him, prevailed. And he knew that he was not able to withstand them. And so he returned to the king, and he accused them of many crimes. And the king sent Nicanor, one of his principal noblemen, who was a cultivator of hostility against Israel. And he commanded him to overthrow the people. And Nicanor came to Jerusalem with a great army, and he sent to Judas and his brothers words of peace, with deceitfulness, saying, "Let there be no fighting between me and you. I will come with a few men, to see your faces with peace." And he came to Judas, and they greeted one another in turns, peaceably. And the enemies were prepared to abduct Judas. And the plan became known to Judas, that he came to him with deceit. And so he became very afraid of him, and he was no longer willing to see his face. And Nicanor knew that his plan had been exposed, and he went out to meet Judas in battle near Capharsalima. And there fell of the army of Nicanor nearly 5,000 men, and they fled into the city of David. And after these events, Nicanor ascended to Mount Zion. And some of the priests of the people went out to greet him in peace, and to show him the holocausts that were offered for the king. But he mocked and despised them, and he defiled them. And he spoke arrogantly. And he swore with anger, saying, Unless Judas and his army have been delivered into my hands, when I return in peace, I will burn this house. And he went out with great anger. And the priests went in and stood before the face of the altar and the temple. And weeping they said, You, O Lord, have chosen this house so that your name may be invoked in it, so that it may be a house of prayer and supplication for your people. Accomplish vindication with this man and his army, and let them fall by the sword. Remember their blasphemies, and do not allow them to continue. Then Nicanor departed from Jerusalem, and he positioned his camp near Betharan, and an army of Syria met him there. And Judas took a position in Adasa with 3,000 men. And Judas prayed, and he said, O Lord, when those who were sent by King Sennacherib blasphemed against you, an angel went out and struck 185,000 of them. Just so, crush this army in our sight today, and so let the others know that he has spoken evil against your sanctuary. And judge him according to his wickedness. And the armies were sent into battle together on the 13th day of the month of Adar. And the camp of Nicanor was crushed, and he himself was among the first slain in the battle. So then, when his army saw that Nicanor had fallen, they threw away their weapons and fled. And they pursued them for 1 day's journey from Adasa, even until one comes into Gazara, and they sounded the trumpets after them with signals. And they went forth from all of the towns all around Judea. And they herded them with the horns, and they turned back again to them, and they were all felled with the sword, and there was not so much as one of them left behind. And they took their spoils like a prey, and they cut off the head of Nicanor, and his right hand, which he had extended arrogantly, and they brought it, and hung it up opposite Jerusalem. And the people rejoiced exceedingly, and they spent that day in great joy. And he established that this day should be kept every year, on the 13th day of the month of Adar. And the land of Judah was quieted for a brief time. Sirach 19-21. An inebriated worker will not be wealthy, and whoever despises littleness will fall a little at a time. Wine and women cause wise men to fall away, and then they will complain against those who understand. And whoever joins himself to fornicators will become wicked. Decay and worms will inherit him, and he will be denounced as the greater example, and his soul will be deducted from the number. Whoever is quick to believe has a trivial heart, and will be diminished. And whoever offends against his own soul will have even less. Whoever rejoices in iniquity will be condemned. And whoever hates correction will have less in life. But whoever hates excessive talk extinguishes evil. Whoever sins against his own soul will be punished. And whoever rejoices in malice will be condemned. You should not repeat a wicked and harsh word, and then you will not be diminished. Do not reveal your mind to friend or foe. And if there is a sin within you, do not disclose it. For he will listen to you and watch you, and while pretending to defend your sin, he will despise you, and so he will be whenever he is with you. Have you heard a word against your neighbor? Let it die within you, trusting that it will not burst forth from you. Before the face of a word, a foolish man labors, like a woman groaning as she gives birth to a child. Like an arrow fixed in the flesh of the thigh, so is a word in the heart of a foolish man. Correct a friend, though perhaps there was a misunderstanding, and he may say, I did not do it. Or if he did do it, correct him, so that he may not do it again. Correct your neighbor, for perhaps he did not say it. But if he did say it, correct him, so that he may not say it again. Correct your friend. For often a fault has been committed. And do not believe every word. There is one who slips with his word, but not with his heart. For who is there who has not offended with his words? Correct your neighbor before you reprimand him. And make a place for the fear of the Most High. For all wisdom is fear of God, and it is wise to fear God, and in all wisdom is the orderly disposition of the law. But the discipline of wickedness is not wisdom, and there is no prudence in the thoughts of sinners. There is a wickedness, and in it there is abomination. And there is a foolish man who has been diminished in wisdom. Better is a man who has been diminished in wisdom because his mind is failing, but with the fear of God, than he who abounds in intelligence, but with transgression against the law of the Most High. There is a certain cleverness, and it is unjust. And there is one who utters a careful word, explaining away the truth. There is one who humbles himself wickedly, for his interior is filled with deceit. And there is one who lowers himself excessively with a great debasement. And there is one who inclines his face downward, and pretends as if he did not see what has not been made known. And if he is prevented from sinning by a lack of ability, and then finds an opportunity for evil-doing, he will do evil. A man is recognized by his appearances. But when you meet an understanding man, he is recognized by his face. The clothing of the body, and the laughter of the teeth, and the walk of a man, give a report about him. There is a lying correction in the anger of a contemptuous man, and there is a judgment which does not prove to be good. But there is one who is silent, and the same is prudent. How much better is it to reprove, than to become angry, so as not to hinder him who may confess in prayer. The lust of an eunuch will deflower a young maiden. Similar is he who by violence gives an iniquitous judgment. How good it is, when you are corrected, to show contrition! For in this way, you will escape deliberate sin. There is one who, by remaining silent, is found to be wise. And there is another who is hateful and who provokes by speaking out. There is one who, not having the understanding to speak, remains silent. And there is another who remains silent, knowing the proper time. A wise man will remain silent until the proper time. But an unrestrained and imprudent person will not heed the times. Whoever uses many words will wound his own soul. And whoever unjustly takes authority upon himself will be hated. There is advancement in evil for an undisciplined man, and there is a plan which turns to his detriment. There is a gift which is not helpful, and there is a gift, the repayment for which is double. There is a loss for the sake of boasting, and there is one who will lift up his head from lowliness. There is one who buys much for a small price, and who pays it back sevenfold. Anyone wise in words makes himself loved. But the graces of the foolish will be poured away. A gift from the unwise will not benefit you, for his gaze is divided sevenfold. He will give little, and reproach much. And the opening of his mouth is like a burning flame. There is one who lends today and demands repayment tomorrow. A man such as this is hateful. A foolish man will not have a friend, and there will be no thanks for his good deeds. For those who eat his bread have a false tongue. How often and how many are those who will ridicule him? For what he possesses, he does not distribute with correct understanding, and he acts similarly with what he does not possess. The slip of a false tongue is like someone who falls upon pavement. Such a fall for the wicked will arrive quickly. A disagreeable man is like a pointless fable, it will be continually in the mouth of the undisciplined. A parable from the mouth of a fool will be rejected, for he does not speak it at the proper time. There is one who is prevented from sinning by poverty, and in his rest he will be vexed. There is one who will lose his own soul because of pretense, and he will lose it by an example of imprudence. For by seeking the approval of another, he will destroy himself. There is one who, for the sake of what others think, makes a promise to a friend, and so he gains him as an enemy for no reason. A lie is a wicked disgrace to a man, and yet lies will be continually in the mouths of those without discipline. A thief is better than a man who constantly lies. But both of them will inherit perdition. The habits of lying men are without honor, and their shame is with them without ceasing. A wise man will benefit himself by his own words, and a prudent man will please the powerful. Whoever works his land will raise high a stockpile of grain, and whoever works justice will himself be raised high. Yet truly, whoever pleases the powerful will escape unfair treatment. Presents and gifts blind the eyes of judges, and silence their mouths, turning them aside from their task of correction. Wisdom hidden, and treasure unseen, of what use is either of these? He who hides his foolishness is better than a man who conceals his wisdom. Son, have you sinned? You should not add further sins. Then too, for your former sins, pray so that they may be forgiven you. Flee from sins, as if from the face of a serpent. For if you approach them, they will take hold of you. Their teeth are like the teeth of a lion, bringing death to the souls of men. All iniquity is like a two-edged spear, there is no healing in its wound. Reproach and injury will make resources useless. And a house that is exceedingly wealthy will become powerless through pride. In this way, the resources of the arrogant will be eradicated. Supplications from the mouth of the pauper will reach all the way to the ears of God, and judgment will come to him quickly. Whoever hates correction is walking in the steps of a sinner. But whoever fears God will convert within his heart. He who has power by means of a bold tongue will be known from far away. But an understanding man knows to slip past him. Whoever builds his house, paid for by another, is like one who gathers his building stones in winter. The synagogue of sinners is like stubble piled up, for the end of them both is a burning fire. The way of sinners is paved and level, and at their end is hell and darkness and punishments. Whoever observes justice will obtain an understanding of it. The consummation of the fear of God is wisdom and understanding. One who is not wise in goodness will not accept instruction. Now there is a wisdom which abounds in evil. But there is no understanding where there is bitterness. The knowledge of the wise will increase like a flood, and his counsel will continue like a fountain of life. The heart of the foolish is like a broken vessel, for it will not hold any wisdom. A knowledgeable man will praise any wise word he hears, and he will apply it to himself. The self-indulgent man has heard it, and it displeases him, and so he casts it behind his back. The talk of the foolish is like a burden on a journey. But in the lips of the understanding, grace will be found. The mouth of the prudent is sought in the church, and they will consider his words in their hearts. Like a house which has been demolished, so is wisdom to the foolish. And the knowledge of the unwise is like meaningless words. Doctrine to the senseless is like fetters on the feet, and like chains on the right hand. A foolish man lifts up his voice in laughter. But a wise man will not even laugh quietly to himself. Doctrine is to the prudent like a gold ornament, and like an armband on the right arm. The feet of the foolish step easily into his neighbor's house. But an experienced man will be apprehensive in the presence of the powerful. A senseless man will gaze through a window into the house. But a man who has been well taught will stand outside. It is foolish for a man to listen through the door. And a prudent man will be grieved at this disgrace. The lips of the imprudent will describe senseless things. But the words of the prudent will be weighed on a balance. The hearts of the foolish are in their mouths. But the mouths of the wise are with their hearts. Whenever the impious curse the devil, they curse their own soul. Those who whisper accusations defile their own souls, and they will be hated by all. And whoever abides with them will be hateful. The silent and understanding man will be honored. Proverbs 22 verses 22 through 25. Do not act with violence toward the pauper because he is poor. And do not weary the needy at the gate. For the Lord will judge his case, and he will pierce those who have pierced his soul. Do not be willing to be a friend to an angry man, and do not walk with a furious man. Lest perhaps you learn his ways, and take up a stumbling block to your soul.